flap, pustule, jowls, nugget, gurgle, smear, bulbous, pork.
If you hear certain words on the job site,
baloney,
work can be uncomfortable.
tender.
So at least get work gear that's comfortable. Timberland Pro work shirts, pants, and boots. Head to toe, Timberland Pro. Not uncomfortable.
Moist.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I thought for sure you were going to start again with the Arctic Monkeys song right there. I thought we were just going to pick it up right there. We were talking before on the local hour before we went national here at 10 a.m. Eastern. We were talking about the word Arctic and whether or not there's a silent C, whether the silent C exists. How do you pronounce it? Stugotz pronounces it Arctic.
Yep, the right way.
I pronounce it Arctic the right way. And then we started talking about a silent C. Is there such a thing in the English language? And Stugotz yelled czar and was very proud of himself. And then many texters yelled czar is not a word that is English. We've just sort of taken it from other people, kind of like what they did with our election.
So what's that mean for Mike Fratello?
No, that's a good point. But scent has been nominated now.
Yes.
Scent, the silent C of scent, but scent is, that's the C sound.
Yeah, that's not a silent C at all. That's one of the sounds a C can make.
I know, but so is there such a thing? Is there such a thing as a silent C?
Muscle.
That's still the C.
Oh.
It's still in there.
So close.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Cedric Ceballos is not Kedrick Ceballos. Kedrick Caballos. Like it makes that sound sometimes.
Yeah, is there, someone look this up? I didn't mean to turn this into grammar radio. I don't think that has a future in 2018. But I would like to know how Arctic is pronounced. So put that on the poll. How do you pronounce it? Arctic or Arctic? And now we will get to silly sports things. Sean Miller, Mike Ryan's got something for you on the Patriots. And we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
But have you seen this latest deal with Sean Miller?
No, what happened?
Okay, if you don't know who Sean Miller is, college basketball is an inherently corrupt system being investigated by the FBI. And Sean Miller is one of the coaches who has profited a great deal off of the backs of unpaid labor in college basketball. College basketball, incidentally. Did you guys notice this on Monday? You know the NBA is silent on the national championship game, right? Because of
Like the sea in Arctic, yeah.
Yeah. I love that the NBA just shuts down to protect its free minor league. Just shuts down. Hey, it's like a holiday. They don't do that for Jesus, man. So think about that for a second. Basketball does not genuflect on Christmas Day. It profits. It does not genuflect on Jesus' birthday. When does it genuflect? Villanova, Michigan. Huh? To protect their free minor league. It is such a scam, the whole thing, man.
It is. So I have the Sean Miller deal. What does he get? He has to, well, you go ahead. You deliver this incredible news.
Well, it's going to make you mad. It's going to make you mad.
I'm already mad. Go
that
ahead.
This guy at Arizona, who's at the center of all these contaminated, corrupt things, and was welcomed back to under FBI investigation, gave the defiant statement against the ESPN, which had reported some things that he disputes, but ESPN stands by, and then he goes back to a hero's welcome because he played the card. FBI investigated. He was going to go the way of Patino, and he played the only card he could, which is, I'm going to go defiant. But now what the Board of Regents has done is said, listen to this. $1 million, Sean Miller, a fine, $1 million if you are charged with a crime, not convicted, Stugotz.
Amazing.
Not convicted. If you are charged with a crime or if you commit an NCAA violation. And my question to you, if this does not outrage you, where is that million going when Sean Miller eventually goes down on that one? Where is that million going? I'll tell you where it's not going, to his players.
Nope. Back to the school, right? Not to the players.
But what do you mean you have this kind of money that you can play with millions professionally? Like that's That is a gangster professional clause leveraged by a board of trustees on their embattled coach. Your stains will not get near us, and if they do, you will pay us $1 million. Rare is the cash transaction in sports that is that transparent, and you still call it amateurism.
They won't fire him, though. It's just $1 million at a charge.
But when I'm saying, like earlier this week, we were talking about Art Briles a month after he leaves, is soaked in scandal that makes you banish him to hell every week.
Yep.
He leaves with a $15.1 million check on the spot. Like,
but why is that? I mean, it's outrageous, and I understand why you're upset about it, but why is this surprising? It should be surprising to you that this is how college sports...
it's not that I am surprised. I just want it to have some emotional backing as we throw it in front of the people so that they can see it clearly. Like, so they could see clearly everything that's happening here and how soaked in hypocrisy it is, as Sean Miller will continue to cash in until he loses in shame. And then someone else will cash in with the $1 million he has to reimburse. It's amazing. That's $1 million just being shuffled around in your face. His team is the one that produces that. Sean Miller, I could replace him tomorrow with any, I could put a deli counter outside of Arizona and I could replace him with 100 men.
The deli counter would make a Final Four. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Patriots traded Brandon Cooks and a 4th-round pick to the Rams for the 23rd overall pick and a 6th-round pick in this year's draft.
Hold on. I said Mike Ryan would give us 30 seconds of good Patriots talk. That's my bad.
We told you last year when we were going through the Patriots what they get for value, and we saw what they were getting on Brandon Cooks this year, and we made the crack, kind of a half joke, that Brandon Cooks was going to be gone the following year because his contract goes up. The Patriots, they just got a higher first-round pick than they gave up, all while having Brandon Cooks on a rookie deal. They run this league.
Yep.
They run it.
Fascinating. Silent C. Giancarlo Stanton with a platinum sombrero, striking out in all 5 of his at-bats in his Yankee Stadium debut.
Wait, what? Look at Guillermo. Oh, Guillermo.
Give him something, Bill. Give him something.
Welcome to New York.
Wait a minute. Guillermo, wait a minute. 5 times he batted yesterday.
First game, over 5 strikeouts.
Booze first game?
Booze after the 3rd strikeout.
It's a funny thing. Oh, man. It's a funny thing.
I miss him. Don Le Batard.
I had a dream last night about the show that Stugotz was filling in for Joe Buck on his podcast, and Allison called me to tell me what a great job Stugotz did. And I realized this is a dream because Allison would never praise Stugotz. Stugotz would never fill in for Joe Buck's podcast that may or may not even exist.
And if I did, it wouldn't be good.
Factually, a lot of factual errors in your dream.
What a weird dream.
Yeah.
Stugotz.
So that's the height of your fantasies, Guillermo?
Well, maybe it was a nightmare. I don't know. It happened when I was asleep.
Thank you, Guillermo.
That's how dreams work.
Yep.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We have talked about late-night television, the changes in late-night television over the years, going back to Johnny Carson, and then Letterman and Leno were the height of entertainment on television at one time. And then the late-night game changed with Conan O'Brien and Jimmy Kimmel and Fallon. And Fallon came on so strong. Colbert now. Fallon came on so strong, Stugotz, with creative things that were kind of benign. A benign television show that had creative things like bands playing, school instruments and playing them well and doing things with celebrities. But in the recent political climate, he's losing because he can't keep up with what Colbert is doing on politics and he can't keep up with what Kimmel is doing on healthcare.
Right.
He's not good. He's not strong enough in those areas. He's not opinionated enough. His writing and his writer's staff is not strong enough to be able to do the politics as well as the others are doing it. So you know what he's doing here? And what do you think of this as a play? Because the play can't be Jimmy Fallon catches up to Colbert and Kimmel because he talks in 2018 America about politics. Nope. He's got a co-host, and it's going to be Cardi B. Woof.
What?
Wait,
Cardi B's doing the Tonight Show?
Jimmy Fallon is taking on a co-host for the first time. I just read this morning. Tell me if I'm wrong. Is it reckless speculation by me? Did I get fooled by a fake shark that was in a flood again? Or is it true? Is Cardi B, because I do this sometimes. I go on the air with information I think to be factual, and then I get very scared because I might have been tricked by actual fake news.
This is so exciting. You know, Allison does a fake Cardi B.
No way.
Yeah, she does a fake Cardi B.
Allison, this is amazing, and this opens the door to the limited fakes for only 43 minutes. 786-456. Be quiet for a second, Allison. 786-456-4837. This opens for 45 minutes only. The doors to the limited fakes. 786-456-4837. Without further ado, Allison, don't say anything else. You're not even at the microphone as Allison. I want you to get deep into character, and I want you to be Cardi B here, okay? I want you to put the B in Cardi B. Are you ready? I know you don't like cameras, and I know you don't like this moment, but just give me limited fake Cardi B as alleged by Guillermo.
No.
Nailed it.
Fallon, you're rescued. You're rescued, Fallon. If you could put that on your broadcast, why did you flee this? We're not on television, Allison. We're not on television today. You fled out of the camera shot when the cameras aren't on. We're here by ourselves. What just happened there?
I saw Billy getting ready to tell you this excitement he had, and I go, "Don't do it, don't do it." And Chris is like, "It's happening, it's happening."
It's wonderful. It's good that we can all share this together.
One more time, please.
Yes, if you don't mind, just one more time, and please just bathe in it. Don't run out of a camera screen when there's no cameras on. Just bathe in. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, it really is
Identical.
So Jimmy Fallon is really going to chase down. He's going to hunt down Kimmel and Colbert. None of the C's are silent. Colbert, Dr. K. What do you do with this if you're Jimmy Fallon? Because I do believe it's actually the way to go. See if you can get young people. See if late night. See if you could turn the Tonight Show, which has always been about middle America and older skewing demos from Johnny Carson, and then Jay Leno sold his soul and never became as artistic as David Letterman,
right? Because
he sold his soul in order to be a part of that compromise. And now Jimmy Fallon is the same creature, benign, beige, reasonably talented, but doesn't have any edges, and he's getting smoked. He got caught from behind by Trump.
Because all this is in Colbert's wheelhouse. It really is. This is what happened with the election was perfect for Colbert and really bad for Jimmy Fallon. This feels like a reach for Jimmy Fallon, man. He can't be happy about this.
It is desperate.
When Jimmy Fallon took this over, Dan, he never imagined he'd have to have a co-host, and that co-host would be Cardi B.
But it can be desperation and also be smart. It can also be smart because all of a sudden, what do? You stay younger. Maybe you skew younger because late night television, that's the Colberts, the ones that get critical acclaim, do so in dorm rooms, man. In dorm rooms. That's where stuff gets popular.
We just got a really cute call from a very concerned Tim Kirchin, wondering if we were okay because he couldn't find us on television.
A very concerned Tim Kirchin?
Oh, that's so nice.
Dan, I'm really worried.
So, people, I know it's weird to change networks, launch for 2 days, and then disappear for 3. Not my
That's
decision.
how we do it at ESPN Ooze.
Not my decision. We're fine. We'll be back on television next week, I think.
But what's on?
Golic and Wingo.
Their show already happened.
It's Rhea.
You know what? They need to stop selling that show more than they sell this show. I think we need to go to war with that show because our show is as big as their show. We need to stop getting bumped by rears of Golic and Wingo, and we have to start pushing our chests out on the white guys. White guys. I should have said it like that, but I was waiting for it from you. Thank you. Instead, you
were waiting on Mike?
Yes, because instead you left me out there with just calling them white guys a cappella.
Wait, but you put Mike out in a place where he didn't want to be.
So, I was too busy being concerned about being the young person spackle on this. That's what the shipping container does, or the young people spackle.
Yes.
And there's a little confusion because to the listener and to us, it sounds like you think Cardi B is now permanent co-host.
Oh, no. Just she's coming on to co-host for a show. No, I didn't think Yeah, I'm sorry. If I said it that way, that's my
No, I
mistake.
just wanted clarification. I also do a fake Cardi B.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ow.
Wow.
Does anybody else do one? Allison's is better.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's have a Cardi B off here. Like, let's go. At First Take, they're having this with sports arguments. Here, the way we do it at the same time slot, and may be why they keep pulling us off television.
This is why Golick and Wingo.
Yes, this is why we better back off from Golick and Wingo now with our chests shriveled as we slink back to ESPN Ooze, maybe back on Monday. In the interim, let's have a Cardi B face off.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
Ew.
Ow. Ow.
I gotta go.
More money, more problems.
Don't you guys think that's interesting, though? The idea that Jimmy Fallon's got to resort to that to see if he can shake it up. Because
Yes, it's very interesting.
I think because she did it one day. I think she did it one day, and they saw a numbers spike.
He's making money moves. Yeah.
If there's anything that a good
Don't even get
business
it.
owner knows, it's that the right employee can make or break a business. That's why when it comes time to hire a new employee, it would be the best move to use ZipRecruiter. Tell them, guys.
Hiring, every business needs great people, guys. If you are hiring, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. They give you a better way to... Oh, Dan, the NFL news, it never, ever stops.
Ricochet! Does Ricochet have a silent C?
But it also has a C that makes a C noise as well. It's a weird one.
Yeah, get back to your seat. This is big news. The Browns have announced they're giving Sam Darnold a tour of the building. This comes one day after they gave Baker Mayfield a tour of the building.
Browns announcements!
And on average, Dan, you'll pass about a half liter of gas a day in your farts.
More money, more problems.
How about that? Back-to-back days, consecutive days of building tours. That is amazing. That's the Browns, man. They're taking this thing seriously. You want to know when you're taking the draft seriously? When you bring not one but two quarterbacks into your building on 2 consecutive days. And I'm telling you what might happen here. The Browns are so bad at this, they might take Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield. And they probably should, because chances are one of those two will be good, and both guys will be very familiar with the building. I mean, it's amazing.
Dan Batard.
How is it that you guys are viewing the Game Show Network as some kind of sad?
Stugotz.
I love the game show network.
Well,
It's
who
so
doesn't?
fun.
Who doesn't?
What
I don't even understand what's happening.
What shows does she watch?
It's all she watches.
All of them? She watches
all of the shows.
But, Mike, it's so wonderfully mindless. Like, it's got to be, you don't have to do anything. You could just sit there watching television and not think about anything.
Maybe you're cutting right to it here. It's just she's only watching mindless entertainment.
But as an escape hatch, you can't say this to the people listening right now and not accuse them of the same thing. They're not even watching game shows. They're listening to us talk on the radio about somebody watching game shows.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. The Dan Batard Show is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. Guest on the Dan Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Mean Gene Okerlund going to be there at noon Eastern. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Patriots traded Brandon Cooks in a 4th-round pick to the Rams for the 23rd overall pick and a 6th-round pick in this year's draft. They have 2 number 1s this year. Odell Beckham Jr., Patriots, collision course. Giancarlo Stanton with a platinum sombrero, striking out in all 5 of his at-bats in his Yankee Stadium debut.
It's so much quicker than I thought it would.
Wow. I feel bad a little.
A little bit. I do. Maybe that's a nice way, like, you're just like maybe sarcastic, but really, no, turn it around. Yeah.
And finally, a swanky hotel in British Columbia has officially lifted its ban on a former customer who caused a notorious incident 17 years ago involving a suitcase full of warm pepperoni and a flock of seagulls. Back in 2001, businessman Nick Burchell checked into the Fairmont Empress in Victoria with a suitcase stuffed with Brothers T&T pepperoni a delicacy from his home city of Halifax, Nova Scotia, which he intended to give as a present to some friends. The room didn't have a fridge, so to protect his precious meat cargo, Burchill decided to let the pepperoni rest on a table near an open window, where it could be caressed by the chilly April air. The traveler then decided to take a walk around the neighborhood and return to find his room full of seagulls who were feasting on the pepperoni. The seagulls were flying everywhere, and they had been there for a long time eating Brothers T&T pepperoni, so you can imagine what the room looked like even before I came back, Burchill told CBC. And now we've got seagulls flying around, the curtains are falling down, the lamps are falling down. It was a real mess. He estimated that somewhere between 30 and 40 seagulls were cavorting around his hotel room. I read that flawlessly, by the way.
Yep.
Thank you. I think. I don't know. Why am I saying thank you?
You really are taking a victory lap.
I can read.
You just did a victory lap on doing your job correctly for the first time.
Hey, first time for everything. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
You are the world's worst major leaguer bat flipping on an infield fly.
Blink motion-activated video cameras send an alert to your smartphone when they detect suspicious activity, and now is the time to buy. You get 3 Blink cameras, what the other guys charge for 1, and an extra 15% off only at blinkprotect.com/Dan15. blinkprotect.com/Dan15. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the dog.
I thought you were going to go dong there.
What happened?
But dog is also funny. Did you hear Mike Ryan's hidden hacky musical joke in the middle of the Sports Center? Put that on the poll, Guillermo, please. Did you hear Mike Ryan's hidden hacky musical joke? Stugotz, I can't get his attention today because he's on Masters.com.
Yeah, guys on the driving range, man.
He's not doing the show because he's got his nose buried in Masters.com. But before we get to that, just real quick, I celebrated that Ricochet had a silent C, and then people pointed out that's a French word, you idiot, and you're right. So czar is a Russian word. That is not an English word. That does not have a silent C. Somebody has written in panache. Again, not an English word. I don't think panache is an English word.
What about indict?
I have the definitive list here of words in the English language that have a silent C. Indict is not one of them. Sorry, Mike.
What?
You know it is.
How can indict not be one of them?
It's not on here. I mean, I have the list.
Well, what's a country of origin?
What's the list? How long is the list?
I would say maybe like 20 deep.
All right, so there are 20 words in the English language that have a silent C. How did this conversation start again? Oh, yeah, Arctic.
Yeah. I got one. Yeah. Is scenario on there?
No, because scenario, if the SC...
No, scenario is on there. Yep.
It's on the list?
No, but...
Mr. English, I mean...
Is not a silent...
it's on the... Listen, this is the definitive list, okay?
All right, well, this is
according
a list to whom?
According to Guillermo.
Okay, well...
No, according to mywords.com, okay?
I mean, okay, but what does that mean?
Many words in English have silent letters. Silent letters are letters that you can't hear when you say the word, but there are there when you write the word. You can put a mouse over the word to see the silent letter highlighted. Click a word to hear the correct pronunciation. So this is the definitive list, okay?
All right, well, in that case, we need to do it real rapid fire. Let's get it done because we are List Radio, nothing better than List Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest silent C's in the English language according to Stugotz, ranking them in order. Number 20 according to Stugotz is...
Scissors.
19 according to Stugotz.
Scent.
No.
Scent is there.
I know, but that's
SCENT.
I know, but it's going to be all SCs.
That's what SC. That's a sound that it makes.
That's the sound a C sound
Definitive
makes.
list.
All right, 18. Go ahead.
Assent.
It's the same thing again and again. There is no silent C. Although indict might. How is indict not on there? 17. Stugotz.
Scenario.
It's the same damn thing. 16.
It's not.
It is 16.
Yep. Muscle.
That same thing. 15.
Luminescent.
14.
Fluorescent.
13.
Disciple.
12. 11.
Descent.
10. 9. 9.
Conscious.
8.
Ascend.
7.
Abscess.
6.
Miscellaneous.
5. It's all the same thing.
I'm running out.
You counted the list wrong. $2. $2. You read the internet wrong.
Fascinate.
All right.
Incandescent.
No, there is no silence.
And, of course, sandwich.
Sandwich?
Oh, that's the silent D list. I'm sorry. I have those, too. Handkerchief.
That's not a silent.
And Wednesday.
What have you discovered over there on Masters.com?
It's amazing because, listen, this is a great week. The par 3 is today, 3 o'clock on ESPN. You're welcome for the plug. But 3 o'clock on ESPN, it's my favorite.
They really needed the rub.
Yeah, they really do.
You're welcome for the plug, ESPN.
Yeah, listen, we're only on ESPN radio today. We're not even on TV, but you are welcome for that plug, ESPN.
Your ego knows no bounds. It's not ESPN promoting us. It's you promoting the Masters for ESPN.
I got to be honest.
In a way that moves the needle.
I have shifted my focus from playing at Augusta to covering the Masters. That's what I'd like to do because I'm telling you, golf needs someone like me out there at the Masters, just having fun, yucking it up with the fans, man.
Agreed.
Yeah, just send me out to Stugotz Army. They'll come out. Right. I'll be out with the fans. Van Pelt throws it out to me.
That's right. Golf, you need to fix that. Just like Jimmy Fallon, Cardi B, just like you need to fix that by throwing Stugotz in your golf coverage because you need your demo to get younger. It's not getting younger. Tiger Woods is an old man now. He's an old man. You need your demo younger. Send Stugotz out there, the 44-year-old Stugotz, to play the 9-year-old mischievous guy and see how fast the Masters ejects him from the premises.
Exactly. Now they'll love it. I'm telling you. But again, you're welcome for the plug. So 3 o'clock is the it's the par 3, and it's my favorite thing. But I've been watching. I'm distracted all week. I apologize because I've been on Masters.com. I've been on the app. I've been everywhere. Guys on the driving range. I watched Tiger and Phil in their practice round yesterday, which was great. And I'm telling you, I've never been this excited. It's my favorite week of the year. I've never been this excited for the Masters because of Tiger Woods and because of Tom Rinaldi. The promos that are running all over our network, each and every one of them gives me goosebumps and gets me more and more excited for the Masters.
Mike was talking about this. Mike came in during the break, and he was saying no one with a more soothing, calming voice, it's skipping rocks across a lake, has ever gotten me this kind of fired up. Tom Rinaldi, like playing the harp, is, it's lit.
At the Masters, for every player in every round, a moment comes and a choice beckons.
Wow.
With that choice, we see champions made,
yes, we do.
Victories earned, and an old truth presented that the timid may not fail, but here, rarely do they triumph.
Is this a poem?
That fortune favors the bold.
Here it comes.
At the Masters. April 5th and 6th at 3 Eastern on ESPN.
I've got the chicken skin.
I feel good.
There's never, ever been anyone in the history of broadcasting better at that than him.
But you think you can do it better.
Watching the Masters. For every fan watching at home, a moment comes. How will I get my wife out of this damn house? With that moment, weekends are made. The house is mine. Peanut M&Ms are devoured. Tequila is consumed. Showers are foregone. And the beautiful sounds of silence are presented. Some say it can't be done. But this week, I'll prove that it's possible. To spend 3 straight days on my couch, texting plugged-in people in the industry who are at best acquaintances that I might be able to harass into letting me play Augusta next year. All while watching the Masters. And by the Masters, I mean just Tiger. April 5th and 6th at 3 Eastern on ESPN.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Hi, everyone. Stugotz here. Support for the Dan Le Batard Show podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you are confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, and your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you the same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you are getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz. That's rocketmortgage.com/Stugotz, Stugotz, equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Dan Le Batard.
Stugotz is a liar.
What happened?
Stugotz.
Well, we know this about you. It's not what happened. It's a statement of fact. You're someone who lies so much that you can be correctly identified as a liar. Yes, I don't. Did you even dispute that?
No, I don't.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance with more than 30 unique coverage options available. Progressive knows small business. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mean Gene Okerlund going to be there in 1 hour, noon Eastern. Here's your SportsCenter update. Alabama coach Nick Saban said Tuesday that he doesn't plan to scrap a program that drew a complaint earlier this week from LeBron James and his media platform, Uninterrupted.
Can we hold on a second? Mike, can you just play those sounds back to back? Guillermo, put it on the poll. Who's taking themselves more seriously here on something absurd, LeBron or Nick Saban?
There's been at least 20 barbershop type things I've seen on TV. I didn't know anybody owned that. I didn't even know he had one. I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
I mean,
he should just laugh at that and say LeBron's a crazy person.
Like, what's the matter with LeBron? And then LeBron's got to have retaliate because it's not, so much ego. Good.
From a media perspective, you guys know Nick Saban more than I do, so that's exactly what I would think he would say. But I built Uninterrupted for a reason, for us athletes to have a platform to be able to speak about whatever we want to talk about. And I respect him as a coach, but I'd be damned if I allow someone to, use our platform or try to, do the same thing we're doing and just think it's okay. So the lawyers will figure it out.
What is he talking about? Because the Players Tribune was created before Uninterrupted. That is a platform for players. He stole that idea from Jeter.
Not true. LeBron invented words.
Oh. Shohei Ohtani hit his first Major League homer in his first home at bat for the Angels. That dude's got to win 8 Ks, a homer, a single.
Pretty cool.
He's going to change baseball, this guy. He really is. He's going to save baseball. I predict that.
Love of God. There it is. There it is. Stugotz discovers someone and boom, saving baseball. He's a messiah.
Ohtani. And finally, eating 50 bananas will give you the same dose of radiation as one dental x-ray.
What?
Listen, I don't know what to tell you about Saban and LeBron. I can't even do it because it's both stories that we covered.
Damn. Okay, that's fine. It's all right.
We did Ohtani. We did the Saban clip. I couldn't even make one
all
up
right,
there.
Let's read the last sentence. It's okay.
Oh, I got 2 more sentences. Looking great at your special event or wedding has never been easier than with thebblacktux.com. They've got tons of new suits and tuxedos that'll make you stand out for the right reasons and score $20 off your purchase. Simple. Visit thebblacktux.com/Dan. For all the latest headlines and information, tune to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio. All throughout the day.
I have to correct an egregious mistake.
We have a very important update on this whole barbershop situation, Dan. So LeBron's thing is called The Shop, and it's the, and then open scissors, and then shop. That's their logo, white scissors.
LeBron invented scissors.
Yeah. Well, Nick Saban's thing is called Bama Football Shop Talk, and then at the bottom of their thing, it says EST, open scissors in white, 2018.
Oh,
now,
I can't wait till the lawyers get involved.
I will say this. Nick Saban's scissors seem to have a dot in the middle where they, open and close, because that's how they would open and close. LeBron's scissors do not.
Wow.
Well, we'll get back to that important story, because I think we can all agree LeBron and Saban taking themselves very seriously on a stupid subject is where sports media needs to go.
Seems like LeBron's got him.
But Stugotz wants to laugh a little bit at the Mets and old people, and LeBron has never sounded older than I'll be damned. I'm telling you. I know he's still playing very well, but that is the tipping point on where he descends. I'll be damned if I'll allow Saban to do what? Say that he can continue to do barbershop talk when I invented the barbershop talk?
That's the moment you'll recognize as LeBron being past his prime.
Right?
Yeah, I think so.
That is old guard. I'll be damned. The phrase, Guillermo, put it on the poll. The phrase, I'll be damned. Does it make you 100 years old? Now, before we get to Mets fans being mad because they don't know what Facebook is and they can't watch today's Mets game.
Freaking out, man.
They are freaking out because old people who love baseball are like, there's an afternoon game, Maud. What's this Book of Faces thing? I'll be damned if I don't watch the Mets today. So we get to that story in a second.
All right.
But we got a problem. If you haven't been listening to the show recently, and the problem, the egregious mistake I have to fix is that Bobby Valentine clearly didn't invent the fajita. He claims to have invented the rap.
Oh. it's
a bad mistake. I will pay the $2. He claims to have invented the rap, much like LeBron created the barbershop conversation. But the Stugotz Army, if you haven't been following the show lately, we got WrestleMania this week, and the Stugotz Army, we had a heel turn or a dramatic plot twist, because I am now a lieutenant in the Stugotz Army. Stugotz is our general, and I fight for him. I fight with him, or maybe I'm a private. Maybe I'm a private and I have to work my way up the ranks. Regardless, I fight in the Stugotz Army now. And some texters are writing in, you guys got to take out Golic and Gringo. We are ready. The Stugotz Army is here. They did bleeping etymology trivia today. That should never be aired. The Army is here and ready, General. So I ask you, as your private or your lieutenant, do we go to war with Golic and Wingo? Because I'm not even sure why we'd be doing it, but the Stugotz Army seems to be clamoring for it.
You know what? I am so torn on this because Golic has been great to me since I've arrived at ESPN. Great to me. He really has. And his entire family. And I love his son. And I love the family. And I've grown to like Hal a little bit. I got to be honest with you.
I love so much. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do you love that Stugotz calls Trey Wingo Hal? Because
chicken
what are you doing? That's gonna offend Hal.
I think you're going to war. The chickens are in the Army and they're pushing you to war, General. That the Kentucky Fried Chickens are in the Army and they're pushing you to war, General. And you have a very big decision to make. Heavy is the crown.
Calling him Hal is a slight dig. Yes.
No, granted, it's a dig, but I'm telling you, like, we share a love for the Masters. We share a love for the NFL draft. We share a love of golf. I mean, Trey, I got a lot in common with Trey.
As if you were trying to hold in a laugh.
And we share a love of money. I mean, Trey and I got a lot in common here, man.
Share a what?
What do you mean?
So,
what do they want me to go to war about? Because they stole a segment from us? It won't be the first. It wasn't the first, and it won't be the last. I mean, what do you want me to do? They're trying to steal the entire show. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
All right, so not yet, General.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery. I'm good with that.
So not yet, General?
Not yet. I love that Golic and Wingo are trying to take some chances on that show. I really am. They are. They're trying. I listen to that show. I listen to it every single day. And they are taking chances, and I am proud of them.
Chicken
for the love of God.
You don't listen to it every day. You only listen to it when you do hits on the show.
I'm a little upset it's on ESPN News. Like, we got bumped on ESPN News today.
General, be careful.
For a re-air of Golic and Wingo.
General, cool down, General. Cool down, General, please.
All right. Listen, Army, let me think about this for a couple hours, maybe a day, might need a night, and then I'll get back to you. Because I'm just not certain that this is the time to do it. That's all.
We are ready.
Okay.
We are ready. The time is after negotiations end.
Bingo.
So, wait. Your general, maybe he can be bought sometimes.
All battles are on hold right now, okay? We've hit the pause button.
But wait, Wilbon, we're coming for you.
As soon as that ink dries.
ESPN executive, we're coming for you. Who's the other guy we're beefing with, Mike? There was some other story I couldn't tell the other day. Was it Jeremy Roenick or was it another one? I've got like 3 or 4 media stories that are burning in my soul.
Oh, the Wilbon one.
No, I know. Wilbon, I already did that one. You weren't listening.
It was an around the horn one.
Wait. I didn't identify it as around the horn. I just said an ESPN executive. Pull back.
You did the Wilbon?
Pull back, horses. Pull back.
Aqua?
So some people have written in some show descriptions, and you chickens just made me think. I saw a video on Highly Questionable the other day. They showed us a video of some farmer herding ducks. He had trained either ducks or chickens to like formation, march together, hundreds together, and march into the barn to their certain sandwich death.
What a quack.
Boom!
Dan Le Batard.
Dan has it.
Oh, my God. No, this is a Bomani question. Mavis Staples, go.
Stugotz.
You can't hold papers together without some Mavis Staples. I mean, everyone knows that.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Le Batard Show, at Stugotz790. Dan, it is time for Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts.
So this video on Highly Questionable was of this farmer who had gotten, I don't know, hundreds of ducks together. They were all in different places, and then he whistled or something, and they all got together and then marched like a little duck army. And the chickens reminded me of that, the Kentucky Fried Chickens, running behind you, bumping into each other, being a part of the Stugotz army, but also knowing that their general is sort of full of it. So it's all very hard. Like, we're all fighting on your behalf. I mean, just full of mischief and anti-media.
That's what the Army's all about, man. I mean, yes, that's what I am full of.
Yes, well, that's right. It scares the mainstream media, though.
Good.
It scares Michael Wilbon and Rich Eisen and Dan Patrick. You've heard it on the show here. You've heard it.
Yep. Their only comeback is their resume.
They come back strong with that resume.
They got strong resumes, man.
Yes, they do, but they all hit you with it, not realizing the Stugotz Army is immune. That is not
We don't care about your resume, man.
No, your credibility is not something that matters to us.
Yes. I have none, and we've arrived at roughly the same place.
Yes, we have.
Roughly.
You're in an even better place, because now you're them and I'm a private in your army.
Oh, yeah.
I fight for you.
Got some weight behind me.
Literally.
That muscle. Silence it. Aqua?
Did Bobby Valentine invent the rap, yes or no?
Yes.
Because LeBron James is claiming to have invented the barbershop conversation. This has infuriated America. Nick Saban is not infuriated, but as always, Nick Saban is taking himself too seriously. I mean, this story might be the most magical one of the year so far. The idea of Nick Saban with no sense of irony. Nick Saban and LeBron James arguing about barbershop conversations is the most meta stupid sports story I've seen this year.
I'm thinking of giving Nick Saban a pass on this. I don't think it's ego. I think he's just old and he's confused.
But at the end he whipped it out. No, at the end he did the thing.
Okay.
The last sentence of arrogance was, look, I'm real sorry that people get offended, but I'm going to keep doing it.
There's been at least 20 barbershop type things I've seen on TV. I didn't know anybody owned that. I didn't even know he had one. I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
Hold on a second. Mike, are the sounds at the beginning of that and at the end of it, one of them, is the one at the beginning a impatient, sort of bothered Nick Saban running one of those sausage nub fingers of him into an aluminum podium because he's PO'd and he's not going to take it anymore? That's that sound. That's the sound I'm talking about.
No, that's not the sound.
What is
him
that?
Pulling out his bleep on the table.
Oh, is that what that was? Let's hear that again. Okay. Where's LeBron's sound on that front? Like when he decided that he was going to bleep, put you know. Wow.
Yeah.
Good God. Good God. That seems unnecessary.
There's
This is not much of a fight.
Hold on a second. Saban, LeBron.
All right. Anyway, let's hear that sound again. This is Nick Saban at the beginning. Is the end him? He's jabbing the podium here, right? We know not with what.
There's been at least 20 barbershop type things I've seen on TV. I didn't know anybody owned that. I didn't even know he had one. I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
The last thing was a pencil, and how about eat some of that, LeBron? And then LeBron gets very serious, and that's just unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable to me. Like, it's one thing, you got in a fight with Phil Jackson because he used old man word for Posse. But now you're fighting another old man, and you're taking yourself seriously and not realizing you're becoming an old man, and you're going to be damned if these old men take your power as Kyrie Irving took your old man power already.
From a media perspective, you guys know Nick Saban more than I do, so that's exactly what I would think he would say. But I built Uninterrupted for a reason, for us athletes to have a platform to be able to speak about whatever we want to talk about. And I respect him as a coach, but I'd be damned if I allow someone to, use our platform or try to, do the same thing we're doing and, just think it's okay. So the lawyers will figure it out.
Bobby Valentine joins us now on ESPN Radio. We were talking again about you inventing the rap, Bobby. Thank you, as always, for making time for us. Can you explain to us again the history of how you invented the rap, what year, and the details of this story?
I don't think it's an invention. I think, when you deal with food, it's more of a creation, first off. And, it's a long story, but, I was cooking in about 1981, and someone needed a club sandwich. Or toaster broke. We had just gotten tortilla shells in from Phoenix because no one was doing nachos in the area of the Northeast at the time. We were cutting up these 10-inch tortillas to put them in a deep fryer and make chips for nachos. And when the club sandwich
Wait a minute. Whoa. Did you invent nachos too? You didn't invent nachos too, did you?
And when the order came in for a club sandwich and we didn't have a toaster, I put the ingredients of a club sandwich into a 10-inch tortilla. I wrapped it up. I put some cheese on it. I put it in the salamander, melted the cheese, cut the sandwich into 3 sections, and served it as a club mix. When my manager was on a Food Channel TV program a year later, I think it was 1982, he said then by 1982 we were calling these things wraps. And he said that it was invented in our kitchen. When the Wall Street Journal investigative reporter was a wise guy, kind of like you are, tried to investigate it, they went all around the country to try to disprove it. And when they couldn't disprove it, somebody at Wikipedia said, voila.
I know.
He invented. And it's not an invention at all. I think it's more of a creation.
No, but I love that you tolerate my wise guyness. Thank you for doing that, because it is very kind of you.
But did you invent nachos?
And the quesadilla.
That's good. I like it. Your show must really have some great topics today that you're calling me at Sacred Heart University to talk about the rap sandwich.
Well, I have another topic, Bobby. Yeah, should Met fans
Ohtani hit a home run yesterday. He's the first Japanese player to hit a home run, I think, and have a win in the first month of baseball.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. Should Met fans be upset about today's game only being on Facebook? Only being on Facebook, Bobby?
Well, I don't think so. I think it's a way of future, and but Met fans should think of Major League Baseball as being a progressive sport.
Would you know how to access a game on Facebook? Because I don't know, Bobby.
I can't do it. We're not making fun of you. I can't really. I'm no good at that stuff. I'm not on Facebook, so I'm no good at that stuff.
Wow. Yeah, I'm afraid I can. Yeah, okay. And I probably will.
You invented Facebook.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What did I do?
You invented Facebook is what you just yelled at him?
He created it.
All right. Get out of here, man. Not you, Bobby. Him. Thank you, Bobby, for being on with us.
My pleasure. What you should do is try to surround yourself with people who are idiots, and maybe people will listen to your show more often.
I've done that.
Done a great job of that.
My pleasure to be with you, bro.
Thanks, Bobby V.
Thank you, Bobby.
Take care.
Thanks for the compliment. That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage and America's largest and most dependable 4G.
Does he still work for us? Did I just get in trouble?
Dan Le Batard.
You're announcing that you will not announce that they are a good team until they've won back-to-back.
Yeah.
But because you are taking away all of Kevin Durant's championships in your personal record book,
right,
you are never allowing him to win them back-to-back, even if they win them back-to-back, thus securing that you never have to identify them as a great team.
Correct.
Stugotz.
I hate when I wander around in your head and see all the empty spaces and the tumbleweed blown around in it.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
What an amazing story that is, Channing Tatum and his wife. All marriages in a perfect world should end the way theirs is ending. Joint Instagram statement. They're both on the same page. They love each other. They just decided, we're both going to move on. And maybe one day down the road, we'll fall back in love and get married again.
Or not end.
In a perfect world.
Perfect world, they're not ending. At least most people's perfect world, Stugotz.
They never end, right. But 50% of the time they do, okay? And so what I'm saying is those 50% of the time in a perfect world, okay, more than 50% of the time, it'd be nice to see couples go out like this.
Okay, you said, what was the couple? I wasn't listening. I was dancing to the sound of Nick Saban's, what was the story? Tatum?
All right, so Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan Tatum announced Monday that they are separating after nearly 9 years of marriage. The couple posted a joint statement to their respective Instagram pages. We have lovingly chosen to separate as a couple. We fell deeply in love so many years ago and have had a magical journey together. Absolutely nothing has changed about how much we love one another, but love is a beautiful adventure that is taking us on different paths for now.
So happily ever after, according to Stugotz, perfect world. That's how all the romance novels end. Divorce after 9 years, perfect.
Yeah, they still love each other. I mean, and maybe, they left the door open, a little crack there. Maybe they'll get back together down the road. They're both alive.
No.
Mike, I think we can get this DJ thing off the ground. I really do. I think that we can absolutely fill a place, 600 people, 1,000 people, listeners listening to you DJ Just Show Sounds. And if to put actual music around it, like put music that isn't silly around it, I would love to have a concert. We'd fill a place for Mike doing a DJ concert with Just Show Sounds.
No doubt.
Feel like
No
in
doubt.
Miami,
Yeah.
maybe not anywhere else, but we'd fill a place down here.
Appearance fees?
It's my mission to actually learn how to do this live. I mean, I do this live, but actually DJ, because right now I'm just playing a track, but I want this to happen.
But would you prepare, or would you just do it on the fly? Would you just try and be?
No, I would
you
organize a set. If I'm putting my name onto something.
Mike, you're very good doing it impromptu, though, is what I'm saying. Everything that you do around here, all this music that you're making you've got a good ear for this stuff. You got a good ear for radio. You got a good ear for music, and you're doing all of it on the fly. None of it's pre-produced.
Yeah, but I'd want it to be really cool. I'd want it to be like, wow, that's Deadmau5 right up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wow. Okay, so that's where we're putting the standards at the start.
Yeah,
so you two can be LeBron James and Nick Saban in a future life and claim to have invented music.
I want to move people, not just physically, emotionally.
No.
Yeah, all right. What a great...
You want a dead mouse on stage with you?
No.
That's one way to get one.
No.
And that, if you don't know, is Allison Turner doing a Cardi B impersonation, because we're talking about late night television, how Jimmy Fallon has to help his sagging ratings as he falls behind with politics by getting Cardi B as a co-host.
No.
Have we established whether that's a good Cardi B impersonation?
She's been begging to do it over.
Okay, let's go.
A second chance.
Oh, wait a minute. Did any of the limited fakes call? All right, 2 minutes only. Limited fakes welcome. 786-456-4837. Limited fakes are welcome. 2 minutes only. We're having a clearance sale on limited fakes. 786-456-4837. Why does she want to do it over? Or, Guillermo, did you just entrap her with your silliness?
No, she needs to hear it again, so she just played it on her phone again because she's not happy with how it came out. Because obviously everyone knows this exact sound she made one time on a Jimmy Fallon interview.
No.
Allison, let's go. We can't have empty silences here.
All right, let's do it.
No empty pauses.
Is this a radio show? Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay, I do. It's limited fake. That's why this is hard.
That's fine. 786.
That's it.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
And I hope
whoa.
it's better than that, because that sounded a lot like the last one.
Whoa.
It's the same as the last
Whoa.
one.
Close my eyes and think
It is the same.
Yes.
No.
Allison,
Everyone close
they've
your
been
eyes.
raving about this impersonation. I know you hate to. Just close your eyes. Close your eyes. No one else is here, and just let it fly.
Hold on a second.
Everyone
Before you-
quiet.
Chris, answer those phones next to you. The limited fakes are pouring in. Answer those phones so people can see how not funny America is every time we go vulnerable and allow the phone lines to carry the funny for us.
So everyone close their eyes first.
Yeah,
Everyone close their
If
eyes.
you're driving, close your eyes.
What about that thing Mike said about radio silences?
Well, just like a half second for
All right.
Allison. Carve out.
Everyone just close their eyes, okay?
Oh.
One more
That was
time.
one more?
Oh.
No,
Keep going back to this animal sound, and it's not even close.
Okay. That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
You complained for 2 hours to get another shot.
You wanted.
Do I get fined?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Get out of here.
What are you gonna like penalty box?
No.
Yes, penalty box for Allison. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes, penalty box for Allison for not
Excellent.
not doing anything correctly.
You can open your eyes now.
Okay, thank you.
I wish this were on TV.
I was getting dizzy.
Oh, it would be a true penalty for her if we were on TV. It'd be the worst.
Right,
2 minutes of a camera on her?
2 minutes with a camera right directly on her. It's it's like Guantanamo for her. It's some sort of torture. Poor Chris. I always feel bad for him. I'm scared. This happens every time with the limited fakes. Chris right now is getting buried by Unfunny. He is weeding through Unfunny. Mike, do I need to get the limited fakes out of here forevermore?
It hasn't worked out, really. And I had to pull Chris aside because we had a couple that went on the air that, let's face it, they weren't
not good enough.
So I pulled Chris aside. I'm like, look, it needs to make you laugh. It needs to move you when you hear these. That's the barometer.
Like Mike's DJ beats.
Yes.
Moving you spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically.
And Chris nodded, and he's like, okay, I get it, but then nobody would get on the air.
I know. Well, but
so be it.
They're so bad. They're so bad. So here, you've got 1 minute left before the hard net workout. It's 786-456-4837. I have no calls right now that have been worthy of anything, Stugotz. I don't have a call on the board. We've been taking them for 5 minutes. Chris has been going through calls from all of America and the World Wide Web. We have nothing right now. I can't go to anything funny. I'm panicked and in a quicksand. I need some help. Can someone help me? Thank you. Thank you. We've got to go to the magic crate of content here. We have to do that whenever that music appears. That's why it's magical right there, because I was out of material. And boom, a party breaks out.
Yeah.
Poor Chris, man. I don't have a call on here.
Not one?
Not one. No, everyone's trying to call in. There's no one worthy of making this. So, will the Mets... Oh, here's some sports talk. Will the Mets get over the injury bug and compete with the Nationals in the NL East, Stugotz? Wheelhouse!
I got to be honest. The fake ace last night was really, really good. I mean, Matt Harvey was really good. And I will tell you this. Matt Harvey as your ace, not good. Why? Because he's not an ace. Fake ace is what he is, okay? But Matt Harvey as your fourth starter, if they stay healthy, Thor, the Degrominator, and the Black Knight, and forget about Steven Matz.
The Black Knight.
It's the Dark Knight.
Who's the Black Knight?
The Black Knight was Martin Lawrence.
Oh, you're right about that.
Who's the Black Knight?
Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence was the Black Knight. If the Black Knight and the Degrominator and Thor can stay healthy, I'll tell you this. Mets going to win the NL East. How about that?
More money, more problems.
And Cespedes needs to stay healthy.
Don't forget, you can hear more of my sons Dan and Stu weekdays starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNU.
Ryan! I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Batard.
Tom Ricketts is saying that the Cubs will not allow Sammy Sosa back into that organization for anything moving forward until he comes clean. And what I find absurd about that, and what a hypocrite this guy is that family made hundreds of millions of dollars off the name Sammy Sosa. By the way, never tested positive for steroid use. And if he was using steroids, which we all assume that he was, my guess is if he was using it, the Ricketts family had an inkling that was going on in their own clubhouse. And for him to come out many, many years later and say Sammy Sosa must come clean for us to allow him back into our prestigious organization, our club, get out of here with that.
Stugotz.
Yeah, Ricketts didn't make money off Sammy Sosa. He won the bid in 2009. This was post-Sammy Sosa.
Well, that ruins my argument.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We got stuff to get to, a Stanley Cup story, a Penny Hardaway story. RG3 is signed with the Ravens. We got sports stuff to get to. But the man, the legend.
Kaepernick still unemployed.
The legend, Mean Gene Okerlund. He is as good as it gets in the history of the sport. And, Mike, before we go to Mean Gene, we have not talked to him in too long. Can you give me 30 seconds about WrestleMania? Because this is a giant sports week and bigger than the Masters. It's WrestleMania.
And much like the Masters, it's not just a one-day event, Dan. It's a week and full of events, and the Hall of Fame is a huge part of that. Mean Gene Okerlund is a WWE Hall of Famer, and Goldberg is going into the Hall of Fame this year. So nice that he patched things up with Vince McMahon. I'm glad that he found the joy in wrestling once again, but maybe one of the more controversial ones, Dan, Jeff Jarrett headed into the Hall of Fame. That's right, JEFFJARRETT. Jeff Jarrett is going into the Hall of Fame. Now, he was running a rival promotion of the WWE for many years that birthed many stars like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, even Kurt Angle left the WWE for a brief time to go to TNA. He is now back in the good graces of Vince McMahon, so a huge weekend going down in New Orleans.
You realize there's an entire week of events for Augusta, too, right?
Well, no, but this is bigger. WrestleMania is bigger.
What?
And the biggest star in the history
I said not unlike.
Oh, that's a fine.
Mean Gene Okerlund is the biggest thing in wrestling. We were talking before you came on here, Mean Gene, about whether you're a top 5 voice and face ever in the history of wrestling. We'll get to that question with you in a second. But can you promote WrestleMania for us? Are you a part of the festivities in a way that you could tell the audience what it is they'll be missing this week if they make the mistake of watching the Masters instead of WrestleMania?
Well, the Masters, of course, I'm a golfer, and that's kind of a big deal for me. But this week, with WrestleMania 34 and in the Big Easy, gentlemen, I want to point that out. That means a lot of fun, a lot of cocktails, but also a lot of fans from virtually all over the world. And I think this particular card is incredible, but I do like the Hall of Fame and the fact that Goldberg, yes, is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame by Paul Heyman.
How about, is there a Hall of Famer in there that you're like, he shouldn't be in there? I should be in there, but he should not be in there. Does Mean Gene Okerlund ever do such a thing? Ever, no. Mean Gene? In your darkest moments, three cocktails in, Mean Gene, what might you say to somebody, I don't know about this person here?
Well, Goldberg certainly is worthy. Greatest Jewish athlete of his era, with the possible exception of Monica Lewinsky. But take a look. Yes, we're taking a look at Mark Henry. At one time was, I guess, the world's strongest man, but he was a last-minute inductee. Ivory, a lovely lady from maybe a decade and a half ago. But I think it's a pretty good lineup. I don't think there's a bad one in there. You've got Hillbilly Jim, who's been a good friend of mine, and Kid Rock will be going in from the celebrity angle. So, guys, it's a great lineup for the Hall of Fame. Nobody in there that I think doesn't belong.
How many drinks in are you right now, Mean Gene?
No, come on.
I'm just wondering.
No, he's not any drinks in.
Gentlemen, it's early in the day. We're at noon here. I'm having a nice warm cup of coffee, hot cup of coffee. Oh. I do have a little Irish gimmick in there. If you caught me a little later in the day when your show was regularly on the air,
yes, back then,
we would have been into high test by this time.
Those were the glory days. I mean, Gene, when we call you up in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah. Call me at 4 and say we're going to be on the air at 4:30.
That's right.
And by that time, I had gone through my entire liquor cabinet saying I got to tune up for this one.
That's right. Okay, well, let's work toward it. Now, Mike, should we come to Mean Gene every day to the week of 2 and maybe get him a few drinks in, or just, what did you call the Irish? What was in your drink?
Hey, I can do that on my own.
Okay, you don't need our help for that.
Right.
All right.
We should have Mean Gene on again tomorrow.
Yeah, of course.
Our final show before WrestleMania.
Yeah, man, he's the best, man. So, Mean Gene, they'll answer that question, though. If you had to do it, and I can only give you 5, and you got to come up history of wrestling.
Man, it's tough.
Because we were talking before you came on, and we're like, this guy is top 5 of faces and voices that you associate with that sport. So if you won't allow yourself in the top 5, what would Mean Gene Okerlund? You got to pick 5. Who are the 5?
Well,
it can't be more than 5.
I'm thinking of guys that wore a jock strap or a cup or something.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be that.
Doesn't have to be.
No, but Mean Gene, when I think baseball,
number 1, in my opinion, has got to be Hulk Hogan.
Right.
And not necessarily back in the fold here at WWE, for some things that happened in the past, but I think we're all forgiving people, and sooner or later I would hope to see him amongst the rank and file of WWE. I think he can be helpful, even as kind of now a kind of a spokesman for the company. I don't believe Hulk is going to be getting in the ring unless it's to say something. On the other hand, I've got to go with Andre the Giant. By the way, that HBO special is coming up, I think, here in the next week or two. Andre, great guy. Speaking of cocktails, he could mow them down.
Yes, he could. Yes, he could. What did you have a great story on that one, Gene? Because he could drink. I mean,
he put you under the table. But anyone,
a French hotel. He passed out.
I think one of the great stories is Andre. We were in Pittsburgh, and we're out at the Marriott Hotel out by the airport because we were doing interviews. I was there with the late, great Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh, man.
And Andre got in the mudslides a little later on in the evening, and they said in the bar that he had consumed 22 of them. And these were not small drinks. These were fan-sized drinks. So as he was making his way across the lot to his room, he took a bump in the parking lot, and at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, some folks found him out there sprawled out and passed out. But they went right to Gorilla Monsoon. He came down with one of those clothes hangers, you know, that you can kind of cart around, the clothes cart.
Yes.
And they propped him up on that clothes cart and took him into a room through the outside entrance, these sliding glass doors, and woke up in the morning. I saw him in the restaurant. I said, Andre, how are you doing, my friend? And he said, boss, not too good today. Forgot what happened.
Oh, my God, the hydraulic
But
system.
he was a classic.
Yes, the best. How about number 3 for Mean Gene?
Well, I've got to go with, a couple of old-timers here, and I want to throw these guys in. You know, the Luthezes and the Vern Gagnes, maybe even an Eddie Graham and a Bruno Sammartino. But these guys are from a different era. So if you talk about them today, you don't get a lot of feedback on it. And, of course, there's a lot of names that could go in there. But I'd have to say, without a question of a doubt, that one of the guys that I really think was a great worker, a great talker, and a great personality would be the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
It's a good list.
Yep.
It's a good list. It's a good list.
The young people on this list, though, Mean Gene. Where's the Rock, the Stone Cold? I know you were in WCW.
No, yes, but I'm going to get to that. No question in my mind, as a worker, as a personality.
Yeah, you can't get to that. You
can't get to it, Gene. You have 5. Yeah.
Gene, you picked 5.
Hey,
it's
one
over.
at a time, please.
Gene, it's 5. You picked 5 already. What do you mean you're going to get to it? What kind of fraud is that?
No. I just said those guys are kind of in a different era. I'm not putting them in that top 5.
All right, so it's Hulk, Andre, and Macho
Stone
Man.
Cold, Steve Austin.
All right.
And probably you've got to go with The Rock, simply because of what he did in wrestling, coming from that great wrestling family, and then the fact that he's done so well in Hollywood. We kind of take a lot of pride in what The Rock has accomplished.
Yes. All right, Mean Gene, go get into those drinks.
Gene, I got to tell you, you're on the list. I mean, you don't want to put yourself there.
Fine.
When I think wrestling, I think Mean Gene.
We're putting it, and Macho Man, get out of here. It's Mean Gene instead of Macho Man.
Todd Pettengill.
Please. Thank you, gentlemen.
Right.
Thank you. We'll talk to you tomorrow, okay?
You got it.
All right.
Work it.
Splash.
Miss that guy, man.
Right?
Great storyteller, too.
He's the nicest man. I bumped into him last year at WrestleMania. He was so kind to me.
He's kind to everybody.
Super sharp with it. You would think because he's older. No, that guy's a promo machine. He knew everything that was going on this weekend.
Don Le Batard.
Finally, Jane's Addiction frontman, Perry Farrell?
Stugotz.
Perry Farrell. Farrell. Perry Farrell.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
If you listen to the show, if you're new to the show, many of you are new to the show, this show is a spoof of a sports show. Like, this is sort of sometimes sports radio, but it's ridiculous, silly dancing around the sports cathedrals. Within that, we take some risks, many of them unfunny, many of them the audience doesn't understand, doesn't want to follow along, gets sick of our show, rips us on Twitter. and says that we don't know what we're doing and everything else. But this is the problem that we have because we've got a creative tension here. In Miami, we were a loose and free show, and we trained the Miami audience to be clever and creative and competitive about clever and creative. And as we've gotten more and more listeners over America, we've slowly gotten dumber and dumber. Like the audience has gotten dumber and dumber as we've creeped. And that's hard. As we've creeped across the landscape, that's hard to say because we live in a region that has one bookstore. Okay, South Beach has 7 miles, one bookstore.
Right.
And I don't know how well it's doing.
One too many.
We ain't smart. But competitive about creativity, it is spread across America. And now we ask you for your calls on limited fake impersonations because we think sports radio callers largely stink. And we exist in this world where the sports radio callers that were great for Jim Rome in the jungle doing takes, we mock all of that. All of it we think is uproarious. So we're asking you, the audience, and we're giving you the bare minimum assignment. Be funny in a couple of words.
Right.
With an impersonation that is limited fake because we don't trust you at all to be funny. And so Chris has whittled this down with an America of callers, all of the technology in the world, the international World Wide Web, and the worldwide leader in sports. He has whittled this down to one argument he's having with one caller who is insisting that his Christopher Walken is good. and so he's taking all these calls. And Chris, please explain to me what your experience has been over the last 45 minutes as we try to trust America with the funny and they continue to hit the podium with Nick Saban's sound.
Everyone wants to do fake Elmos that are terrible. They want to do fake Liam Neesons where they're just saying no. They want to do Stugotz saying tight ends coach. They just want to say teh. They're terrible. And those are the good ones. Those are the good ones.
Okay, so I feel sorry for you, and I might need to end this again, man.
Well, I think you do, because when we went national, we figured, hey, maybe this is something we could bring back because there's a much larger pool to choose from.
It was so funny.
The other way.
It was so funny when we did it in Miami, and it's not that the comedy didn't age well. It's that America got dumber.
Right.
And so here we are, arguing with Christopher Walken in a very serious fashion. And where are we with this, Mike? Do we feel good about this limited fake Christopher Walken? Christopher Walken, every impersonator will tell you, is about the easiest thing to do in all of impersonations. Anyone can become Christopher Walken. Almost anyone could do a Christopher Walken. I can come here and open up the phone line right now and tell you 786-456-4837, and I'll lure out a bunch of Christopher Walkens.
Yep. It's a go-to for many people. You're right.
It's the easiest of the impersonations, and it's the best one we've gotten after scouring the globe.
We can't shake this person. We've told them that we're not exactly sure. It's okay, but we want only excellent things. But he keeps calling, and it might be the best thing that we have.
Has Chris been arguing with the fake Christopher Walken? And do you argue with the fake Christopher Walken as Christopher Walken? Have you been arguing with the caller or what the caller is impersonating?
I'm actually feeling pretty good about this Christopher Walken.
You are?
There, I said it.
Okay.
But
why have you been arguing with him for an hour?
Because I'm very rattled because there's an expectation for
Yes.
funny, and sometimes I hear it and I think they're better, and then they get on air and they just.
Yeah, that's been the case.
All right,
almost
we've
every
built
time.
this one up.
All
now.
right. Well, here we go. All right. So here it is. Christopher Walken. He's been calling in nonstop. Chris thinks it's good, but has no confidence in it. I have no confidence in the American people or the World Wide Web. Limited fake Christopher Walken. You're on ESPN Radio.
Dan, listen, you have a dynamite show, but there's a weak link. It's a weak link, and he's a bad DJ. The rejoin music, Dan, is the worst that I've ever heard. And I was at Studio 54 in 1979 with Jackie Onassis, and even I know bad music. It's Toto. It's Rosanna from yesterday. It's off. Dan, it's awful. It's terrible, Dan.
Wait a second. I recognize this.
Do I recognize your voice? Are you trying? Is this
Mike,
this?
Yeah, I've been in movies. I was in Click. Dan. Then, Dan, I was in Deer Hunter.
Okay, Dan, we get it. That's a big part of your impersonation, fake Christopher Walken. But do I hear a hint of a Sports Center anchor somewhere in there? Do I hear a hint? A hint of?
I watch. Of course. I love my Yankees. I watch Sports Center every morning.
Mike,
Jay
is
Harris.
is this the spleen?
Randy Scott.
Randy Scott.
This is Randy
Oh,
Scott.
my
It's
God.
Randy Scott.
On the sneak on the show.
Yes. Dan Le Batard.
People who love this show tend to really, really love Stugotz.
Thank you.
Stugotz.
I mean, yeah, the love is unreasonable for a man of your despicable core.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
All right, we've got too many things to get to here. Our thanks to Mean Gene Okerlund for joining us. Stugotz is mad at Penny Hardaway. We've got some Stanley Cup story that Stugotz wants to get to. We've got to get to my favorite colors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 20th is Jacaranda, 19 is Chinchilla.
Wait for the open.
Yep. Not official.
Dan's favorite colors: orange, yellow, purple, pink, blue, magenta, green.
Which color will he choose?
I told you already, Jacaranda.
Will he choose which color will he choose?
Which color will he choose? Which color will he choose?
Jacaranda.
Which color will he choose?
Number 20 on the list of Dan's favorite colors, following lavender, aqua at 39. That finds that one puzzling. 38, mandarin orange, lime, red, green, blue, yellow, mauve, periwinkle, hazel, blueberry, dandelion, chartreuse, burleywood, blanched almond, tan, persimmon, acid green, American bronze, and now number 20, bisque.
Whoa! Threw us off with a little Jacaranda thing.
Bisque, B-I-S-Q-U-E. It is a color.
Is chinchilla a color?
It is. Chinchilla is also a color.
Oh, really? Well,
That's number. That's 19. That's 19. Chinchilla.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it is.
not.
Yes,
No,
it
it's
is.
not.
Not official.
Yes,
We'll
it
find
is.
out tomorrow.
18 is Jacaranda.
No.
Okay. Anyway,
Aqua.
so what do you got for us on Penny Hardaway?
You know, this is interesting. I don't know if I'm mad at Penny Hardaway. The story's just interesting to me. So Penny Hardaway has taken over as the University of Memphis's new men's basketball coach. His first move as their head coach is to give his son Jaden a full ride, a scholarship. Okay?
Right.
Now, I don't know.
That's his very first move.
It's his first move, yeah. Now, Jaden Hardaway is a 6'5" shooting guard who spent this past season at IMG Academy in Florida, which is a very good academy, good basketball program. But he also played for Penny's AAU team. And during his time with the AAU team, he averaged 4.8 points per game on 35% shooting. Those aren't full ride numbers. And so it begs the question, did Penny Hardaway kind of take this job with the promise that his son would be given a full scholarship to the University of Memphis?
Like a bonus, a sweetheart deal. Well, wait a minute. Why do they even need to do that? I thought that if you go to a school and you're someone who is an alum like him, like they will do all sorts of things for you. No?
Oh, I don't think that Penny Hardaway, just being an alum, can get his son on 4.8 points per game on 35% shooting a scholarship at Memphis.
Well, no, but it's specifically Penny Hardaway. And if you're the coach, don't your kids, if you're a teacher at one of these schools, don't your kids get education there for free? Isn't that normally how that works? Isn't that a perk as part of just education?
I don't know. I'm not aware. I know, like at private schools, if you teach, like private schools, not college. I know if you teach in private school, like my kids go to private school. If my wife decided to work, and Lord knows she's not, but if she decided to work and wanted to teach, then we would get, some money off of what we owe for tuition.
I'm sorry, does Penny Hardaway need help getting his kids into college?
Yeah, you never know. You never know.
Oh, good point as well. You do never know, though.
So I thought maybe that, like, Penny was attaching himself to his son, because Penny really, I'm not certain Penny deserves this coaching job, right? I'm not certain. I thought his son was good enough where Penny's like, hey, I'll deliver you my son, you give me the coaching job. But apparently the Sun, 4.8 points per game, I could do that.
So maybe Penny Hardaway doesn't have enough clout at Memphis to get his son in, but he can just get a job that we're not sure he deserves.
Yeah, Mike, I'm telling you, there's no way you get his son in. Not a full ride.
Okay,
no way. It's impossible.
It's just weird that
unless he's the coach.
That the FBI investigated sport doesn't draw your attention for its decades-long injustice, but Penny Hardaway's the one that gets you mad. That Penny Hardaway getting the job that he doesn't deserve so that he can make the money off of the backs of players the way that coaches off of his back made money.
Listen, I'm just upset here. I'm not mad about really any of it. It's just Penny has figured out a way to get his kid through college for free.
The Stugotz
I'm mad at him.
Guillermo,
yes.
Put it on the poll. Is the Stugotz strong in Penny Hardaway?
Aren't you trying to do that with your daughters in lacrosse?
Yep. Syracuse, here I come.
You're doing the same thing, right? It's why every thief thinks everyone else is a thief. You're doing the same thing.
Yeah. I wanted to be the first, though. It appears that Penny is.
So what are you doing with your daughters in lacrosse?
Listen, I'm telling you, when all this is done, okay, when me and you are no longer, and we've decided to move on, because you want to go, write a book, and you want to go travel the world.
And because you stabbed me in the back and Mike Ryan fired me.
That too. And I want to just go to a college town and do a podcast, maybe a local radio show if there's still radio at that time.
With Tony Baselli.
With Baselli, but not Jacksonville. And I just want to go to a college town and just ride it out with my wife, do a little podcast the rest of our life. Ride that out, nice college town, little podcast, coach a college lacrosse team. So what I'm thinking about doing is attaching myself to my daughter, who's going to be an All-American. And, hey, listen, you get her, you got to take me on as head coach.
4 years from now.
Yeah. That's the plan.
He is going. So you are Todd Marinovich's father of teenage lacrosse girls, because Mike, we have not mined these stories nearly enough. Stugotz berating referees. Stugotz is a terror. All of this that has been built is going to go down one day when Stugotz gets into a wrestling match with some 15-year-old who called his lacrosse game wrong. It's how it's all going to end.
It's going to end with blurry cell phone footage.
No, a 15-year-old will call the game better than the referees we have.
I know, but I'm saying, that he cannot be trusted to not stay unhinged with a great lacrosse team. He rips the Golden State Warriors because they are everything that he wants his lacrosse team to be.
No, it is what my lacrosse team is.
It's what it is?
They are stacked.
They are stacked.
We have all the best players from all the schools in the.
So Rachel and Emma are shortcut takers.
Well, Emma, no. Listen, Emma does dancing, so she's not even on the lacrosse team. But yes,
Rachel's more cutthroat, so she is on the lacrosse team.
She's on and she works very, very hard. So she didn't lose to a team and then join. Like, we lost to M&D Black up in Maryland, and Rachel didn't leave our program and join M&D Black. She stayed right here with this program.
Oh, good.
Because that's what athletes do, KD. Okay.
All right. Very good.
Bisque.
All right. So this is what we've got here on show descriptions as. We're going to choose one of these right now. We're going to choose one of these on ESPN Ooze. We have a new show description. We have thrown it out to the audience.
We're only on ESPN Radio today. You meant for ESPN News.
Yes, for ESPN Ooze. I don't know what you're calling it. The show description. It's going to be, this is a nice prize we're giving somebody. We asked the community to be creative, and we said, let's get the description of the show that ESPN will approve. Let's get a list, and let's find what works. So here are some of your choices.
It's a great prize because we get to steal your work. You get zero money for it, but you press the info button when our program's on, and you say, look, I did that. Yep.
All right, so here are I really do like some of these. Dan gets mad at injustice. Stugotz gets mad at everything, mainly words. That's a good show description. Now, it's not enough shipping container, but maybe we can add to it.
I can't stand those things.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, the Elon Musk of sports talk radio. I don't like that. The Dan Le Batard Show Stugotz with where a loud fat guy talks sports with a guy who reminds you of a homeless person who hit on a scratch-off ticket. Dan Le Batard and Stugotz, they put the ooh in ESPN News. Maybe we can combine some of this.
Yeah. And thanks for the compliment on the scratch-off ticket homeless thing.
Dan Le Batard and Stugotz, 3 hours of pork belly sandwich burping ism talk while his con artist co-host tries to siphon the gas out of your car. That's good.
Thank you.
It's got to be that. What's
People
better
are
than
so
that?
nice.
What's going to be better than that?
Flattering.
Gravy vampire Dan Levitard and world-class liar Stugotz bulldozed their way into the day's hottest stories with spicy hot takes and professional gasbagging. This past their prime duo takes a sledgehammer to traditional sports opinion.
Once again, thank you.
I like him siphoning the gas out of your car.
Hey, the fact that you push the button seeking information concerning the Dan Levitard show with Stugotz is a very bad sign. It is unlikely you will ever fully comprehend or appreciate what you're watching. How about that?
Yeah, I like that.
Dan Levitard and Stugotz, terrible $2.
Very good.
Dan Levitard, Stugotz, and their gang are sex in a can. What?
Sex in a can?
What?
Sex in a can.
You're not.
Sex in a can? All right, so we're doing it. Dan Levitard and Stugotz, 3 hours of pork belly sandwich burping ism talk while his con artist co-host tries to siphon the gas out of your car. We need a shipping container sent.
No, we don't. No,
yes,
we don't.
We do.
That's perfect. I'm going to send that one over. Now, I don't have final say in this because there's a standards and practices
They're not
issue.
going to approve this. ESPN's not going to approve this.
What's wrong with it?
Ryan! I don't know how else to say this, so I'll just say it.
What is it, Linda?
I think we should see other people.
Are you breaking up with me? On a roller coaster?
Well, we do have a lot of fun. Maybe we should stay together.
An emotional roller coaster? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I just need a little me time.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or